What happens when a new generation decides that Hollywood's old rules simply don't apply anymore? Today on Rainbow Spotlight, we're celebrating 5 fearless young gay stars who aren't just chasing fame. They're rewriting the entire script. From breaking outdated stereotypes to living proudly and loudly in the public eye, these rising legends are showing the world that being true to yourself is the real superpower. They're bold, they're brilliant, and they're building a new era of queer representation. One scene, one headline, one moment at a time. Hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. Drop a 1 in the comments if today feels like a good day to be proud of who you are. Stick around till the end, you might just discover your new favorite icon. Let's get started. Charlie Bushnell, the Disney star, turning quiet rebellion into queer representation. In a world where Disney has long stood for picture-perfect teen dreams and squeaky clean romances, Charlie Bushnell is quietly leading a new kind of revolution. At just 20, Charlie broke out as Bobby in the Disney Plus series Diary of a Future President. He played the sweet older brother in a show that felt progressive. But what fans didn't know was that off-screen, Charlie himself was slowly stepping into his own queer identity. He didn't shout it. He didn't make a viral announcement. Instead, Charlie did what felt most authentic. He simply started existing more visibly, more freely. Subtle shifts in his fashion, his online presence, his interviews, they spoke volumes to the fans paying attention. And when he eventually confirmed he was queer, it didn't come with a bang. It came with a calm, radiant confidence. What makes Charlie stand out isn't just that he's gay. It's how gently, how gracefully he owns it. He's part of a generation that doesn't feel the need to declare or defend every part of who they are. For Charlie, queerness isn't a label. It's just truth. Natural, present, quietly powerful. And that quiet power, it's changing things. As a rising actor, Charlie is now choosing roles that matter. He's aligning with projects that tell real LGBTQ+ stories, ones with joy and nuance, not just trauma or stereotypes. He wants to show that queer characters can be messy, funny, awkward, heroic, and still worthy of love on screen. But it's not just his career choices, it's also his vibe. Charlie Bushnell radiates Gen Z softness, a kind of masculinity that isn't afraid to be emotional, vulnerable, or adorned with glitter eyeliner on the red carpet. He's redefining what a leading man can look like. More introspective, more fluid, more real. His fans see it, they feel it, and they follow it. Because when someone like Charlie gets to show up fully, it gives others silent permission to do the same. But let's be clear, this isn't just about representation. Charlie's story is about momentum. He's not riding a wave, he's quietly building one. With every honest post, every photo that breaks the mold, every role he takes, he's helping shape a Hollywood that doesn't ask queer actors to hide, tone it down, or straighten it up. He's not here to scream into the void. He's here to smile, stand tall, and let authenticity do the talking. Charlie Bushnell isn't just another Disney kid. He's a queer trailblazer in the making, soft-spoken, but unstoppable. Drop a 1 if you believe quiet courage is sometimes the loudest kind. Hunter Doohan, the breakout star, who gave queer boys a seat at the table. Before Wednesday made him a heartthrob, Hunter Doohan was just another struggling actor trying to find his place in Hollywood. Audition after audition, he kept hearing the same unspoken message. If you want to lead, you better play it straight. But Hunter had other plans. The Arkansas-born actor, who once worked as a production assistant just to stay close to the industry, wasn't interested in hiding who he was. He was gay. He was proud. And he was determined to build a career on honesty, not illusion. When he landed the role of Tyler Galpin in Netflix's Wednesday, fans around the world swooned over his brooding intensity and undeniable chemistry with Jenna Ortega. What many didn't know? Behind that on-screen romance was a real-life love story with his husband, Fielder Jewett. Yes, the lead love interest in one of Netflix's biggest hits was played by an openly gay man, and that, in itself, was revolutionary. Because for so long, gay actors have been told they could only play gay roles, that they'd never be believable as romantic leads opposite women. Hunter shattered that myth with one performance, and he did it without ever hiding a thing. But Hunter's power goes beyond casting choices. What makes him a standout is the way he speaks about love, identity, and visibility. In interviews, he talks openly about coming out, his marriage, and the importance of queer joy. He's not here to be anyone's stereotype. He's here to tell full, complex human stories with all the mess and beauty that comes with them. Off-screen, his energy is refreshingly grounded. No tabloid drama, no performative activism. Just a man who loves acting, loves his husband, and loves making space for others to be seen. And in a town that often rewards spectacle over sincerity, that kind of quiet, consistent truth is radical. He's not flashy, he's not loud, but his presence in the industry is seismic. Because every time Hunter Doohan steps into a role, whether it's a tortured barista or a small-town love interest, he brings with him the weight of every queer kid who was told they weren't leading man material. And he proves them wrong, beautifully. Hunter's rise isn't just about talent, it's about timing. He's part of a new era where queer actors don't have to choose between success and authenticity. And as his star continues to climb, one thing is clear. He's not just breaking barriers, he's erasing them. Drop a 2 if Hunter's story makes you believe love, truth, and talent always find their way to the spotlight. Omar Apollo, the genre-bending heartthrob who turned vulnerability into power. Omar Apollo didn't sneak into the music industry. He kicked the door open with a guitar in one hand, a broken heart in the other, and lyrics that whispered queerness with every note. Born Omar Velasco in Indiana to Mexican immigrant parents, he wasn't raised around luxury or music executives. He grew up surrounded by Spanish ballads, 90s R&B, and the quiet ache of wanting to be understood. His earliest songs were recorded on cheap equipment in his bedroom. But what they lacked in polish, they made up for in raw soul. From the beginning, Omar wasn't afraid to sing about love. Real love, heartache, desire, longing. And sometimes it was for boys. It was subtle at first. A pronoun here, a lyric there. But queer fans heard it. They knew. And they clung to his music like a secret passed between friends. In a world where male pop stars often perform masculinity like a costume, Omar did something revolutionary. He just didn't. He danced sensually in his music videos. He wore crop tops and pearls. He flirted, teased, cried, and never once apologized for it. His style blurred the lines between soft and strong, old school cool and Gen Z bold. And when he finally confirmed what fans already suspected, that he was queer, he did it in the most Omar way possible. Casually, authentically, and without making it a headline stunt. But make no mistake, Omar's queerness is political. In an industry that still sidelines queer Latinx artists, he's carved out a lane for himself and made it beautiful. He's collaborated with the biggest names in music, Kali Uchis, Daniel Caesar, Tyler, the Creator, and still kept that same vulnerability that made his early fans fall in love. His 2022 album Ivory was a masterpiece of emotional honesty. Songs like Evergreen and Killing Me weren't just catchy, they were confessions, tender, aching, and undeniably gay. In every lyric, you could hear a boy learning to love himself while trying to love someone else. And that's what makes Omar so important. He doesn't just represent queer visibility, he represents queer complexity. The mess, the moodiness, the magic. He's not here to play a sanitized version of gayness for mainstream approval. He's here to make art that feels. Omar Apollo isn't chasing fame, he's chasing truth. And in doing so, he's given a whole generation permission to feel deeply, dress freely, and love loudly. From basement sessions in Indiana to Grammy nominations, he's proof that you don't need to change who you are to change the world. Drop a 3 if Omar's voice made you feel like your story finally had a soundtrack. Connor Jessup, the indie darling who quietly became a queer icon. Connor Jessup didn't explode onto the scene with flashing lights and red carpets. He crept in, quiet, deliberate, and impossibly magnetic. Born and raised in Toronto, Canada, Connor's early career was a textbook story of young Hollywood success. He started acting at the age of 11, starring in indie films and critically acclaimed TV shows like Falling Skies and American Crime. He was the kind of actor critics love, serious, introspective, always choosing roles with soul over stardom. But behind the camera flashes and festival premieres, Connor was carrying a secret. A part of himself he feared might not fit into the neat narratives Hollywood loves to sell. For years he stayed silent. It wasn't because he was ashamed. It was because he was scared. Scared that coming out would limit his roles. Scared that his queerness would be reduced to a headline instead of an artistic truth. Scared that the industry would see him differently, not as a talent, but as a risk. But in 2019, Connor chose courage over fear. In a heartfelt Instagram post on his 25th birthday, he came out publicly as gay. No press release, no magazine cover, just raw, vulnerable honesty. "I knew I was gay when I was 13, he wrote, "but I hid it for years. I was afraid, ashamed." Those words hit like a lightning bolt across queer Hollywood. Not because coming out is rare, but because coming out with that level of tenderness is. And the best part? Connor didn't change after coming out. If anything, he flourished. He landed the lead role of Tyler Locke in Netflix's Lock and Key, a dark fantasy series that quickly gained a massive fan base. He didn't play a queer character, he played a human character. And by simply existing authentically off-screen, he expanded the idea of who gets to be the hero. More importantly, Connor began using his voice to advocate for better, more complex queer representation in media. He directed short films exploring queer love, identity, and loss, proving that he wasn't just an actor who happened to be gay. He was an artist fueled by the need to tell queer stories with honesty, depth, and dignity. Today, Connor stands as a different kind of LGBTQ+ icon. Not loud, not flashy, but powerful in his quiet refusal to be anything other than real. He's the reminder that bravery doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it posts on Instagram, sometimes it simply shows up day after day, choosing truth over fear. In a world obsessed with noise, Connor Jessup's story proves that authenticity still cuts through, and that sometimes the softest voices leave the deepest marks. Drop a 4 if Connor's journey made you believe that being real is the bravest thing you can do. Leo Woodall, the new rebel who's breaking every mold. In an industry still obsessed with stereotypes, Leo Woodall walked in and shattered every single one. Born and raised in London, Leo grew up far from the glitz of Hollywood, in a family that valued hard work over headlines. Acting wasn't a lifelong dream. It found him later after years of trying to fit into boxes that never quite felt right. And when he landed his breakout role in The White Lotus Season 2, the world finally saw what he had always known. Leo was impossible to ignore. Tall, dark, and devastatingly handsome, Leo easily could have coasted on looks alone, but he didn't. From the start, he chose roles that were messy, complex, and gloriously human, rejecting the easy path of being just another pretty face. And then, without warning, he began hinting at something deeper, something queerer, something that didn't fit the traditional leading man narrative. On red carpets, he blurred the lines between rugged and soft. In interviews, he spoke about love and identity with a casual fluidity that made labels feel outdated. And in his personal life, Leo let the rumors swirl without ever rushing to define himself, because to him, freedom was more important than clarity. It was a quiet rebellion. In a world where many still expect their stars to either loudly proclaim or carefully hide their queerness, Leo did neither. He lived authentically. And that authenticity sparked something bigger. Young fans saw themselves in him, not just in who he loved, but in how he refused to apologize for being complicated, shifting, real. He became a kind of queer-coded hero for a generation that's done with boxes and binaries. But Leo's impact wasn't just about vibes. He actively chose projects that expanded representation, leaning into roles that explored fluidity, longing, and vulnerability in ways rarely seen in male leads. Whether playing the bad boy with a hidden tenderness or the misunderstood outsider aching for connection, Leo brought a depth that defied old Hollywood standards of masculinity. And he did it without ever raising his voice. He didn't need to. His existence, proud, beautiful, unboxed, was a statement all by itself. Today, Leo Woodall isn't just an actor to watch. He's a movement, a reminder that the future of fame doesn't belong to those who fit the mold, but to those brave enough to break it, and to break it beautifully. He's living proof that sometimes the quietest revolutions are the ones that last the longest. Drop a 5 if you believe Leo's fearless vibe is exactly what Hollywood and the world needs right now. And there you have it. 5 fearless young stars who aren't just chasing fame. They're changing the very rules of what fame even means. They're showing the world that being bold, being real, and being unapologetically yourself isn't just powerful. It's unstoppable. From red carpets to indie sets, from silent strength to loud, proud love, they're proving that the future of Hollywood is wide open and a whole lot gayer, braver, and more beautiful than ever before. If their journeys inspired you, reminded you of your own power, or simply made you smile today, don't forget to drop a rainbow in the comments. Tell us, which of these stars made you feel most seen? And hey, make sure to subscribe and become a channel member to celebrate more fearless icons with us every single week. The revolution is here, and it looks fabulous,